Hello Straters, it's CreepEvee back again with another magic video. If you guys have noticed, we're here at a weird time. If this video goes up as I think it will, this is going to be on a Friday night, which is not my usual day. I did not post a video last weekend on my normal time, and the reason that I did that was to prepare for this week's new schedule. And I am slightly off my new schedule. I wanted to put this up on Thursday yesterday, but a slew of recording issues held me back, but we are here today. But I do plan on making this week, well, future weeks on Thursday, while also having videos on Sunday. Since Dan is going to be kind of stepping back for a little bit, I figured I could post 2 videos a week. I've been wanting to go to 2 videos anyway, so I think it'll work out well for everybody involved. This week we are in Commander. One thing about the change schedule, and then we'll get into the deck. The change in schedule will mean that we will get videos that will be slightly different. Right now we've been doing a summary of the deck and then one game. We'll get that on Thursdays, and then Sundays will usually just be 2 extra matches with that deck. So you guys will get to see a little bit more of the deck, get to see more aspects of it, and I think that'll be good. Just get to understand how the deck works a little bit more. Obviously there will be exceptions to this, like my discussion video that we did a few weeks ago. I'd like to do more of those in the future. So obviously they'll change the schedule a little bit. We'll kind of cross that bridge as we get there. But for right now, plan on Thursdays, introduction and 1 match. Sundays, 2 matches. But as I was saying, now we are back in Commander this week, and we are playing Sidisi Undead Vizier, or Visor. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to go with Vizier. I was testing some different decks that I wanted to do this week, and I wanted to do something with Neheb, and I wanted to do something with the new Sphinx, do Sphinx Tribal. And I was testing with them, and I found some fun things to do, but then I played against a Sidisi this week, and I really enjoyed him playing against him. And I got to thinking about it. I was like, well, this is a cool deck. And then I got to thinking about it. I'm like, it sounds like it would be fairly cheap to build online. And it was, shockingly. Even though some of the cards look expensive, as far as online compared to in paper, they're really cheap due to the some of the reprints that are online exclusive. Overall, this deck was, I think, 18 ticks. Which is pretty solid for what I consider to be a fairly competitive deck. I don't think this is ever going to be, mainstream or anything, but as far as making a little rogue thing that can probably pick up a few wins, I think this is definitely worth the price of admission. It's a fairly simple deck to pilot in a lot of ways. You just have to know when you want to go off or not, whether you're ready to make that risk or not. So essentially like any Storm deck is. But overall, it's fairly straightforward to play. It is combo based, but the combos are pretty simple. There's really only 2 combos in the deck, and they both pretty much work the same way. The reason we play Sidisi is not necessarily for the combo. It's just that it tutors for a combo. For some reason, I have a Windows Defender pop up. But Sidisi tutors for combos, and that's the reason why she gets played as much as a commander. I think it's just 4 combo decks. And mono black works just fine for what we're doing. So Sidisi works out very well. Essentially, we're going to cast her and sack her to herself for the exploit trigger. That way we can cast her again whenever we get the mana and search for another combo piece. Everything else in the deck, we only have a few different cards to talk about in the deck. I don't usually want to talk about every card in the deck with commander decks because there are usually quite a few in your regular 99. But in this one, we have one particular slot that is taking up 54 spots, which is Shadowborn Apostle. Because Shadowborn Apostle is one of a few cards in Magic that have a deck can have any number of cards named this clause in its text. Shadowborn is a 1-drop that has 1 black, sacrifice 6 creatures named Shadowborn Apostle. Search your deck for a demon creature, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your deck. So there are a lot of really cool demons you can tutor for, all kinds of different demons. You know, you can go for just powerhouses or ones that do a little bit more tech. All sorts of fun ones out there, but we just have 2. We have our Rune Scarred Demon, tutors, pretty nice. Or we have the tutor tons of times, which is Razaketh. This deck was around before Razaketh was printed, but Razaketh completely changes this deck's ability to go off as quickly as it can. For those of you that don't know what it does, it is a flying trampler that has pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, tutor. So you can do that as many times as you want to, as long as you can pay the cost. And if you're going off early on and you're in a commander game and you have 40 life, you can search for a lot of things as long as you have the creatures. And we have a lot of 1/1s that we can sack off. And so we just go grab our combo pieces and go ahead, get everything done that we need to do, and win the game. At least that is the plan. Our combo, since we've talked about searching for the combo pieces, is generally with Tendrils of Agony. If anybody's played Magic long enough, you know that there are plenty of ways to use Tendrils of Agony in a combo. Most notably because it has Storm, and that means you can make a combo out of it. If anybody that's played against Grape Shot knows that as well. So it's a Storm card. Target player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Very simple, but when you have Storm, anything that's simple becomes extremely dangerous very quickly. So it does a lot more than Grape Shot does, but Grape Shot obviously costs a lot less. So we're attempting to just drive up our Storm count, cast Tendrils, and that's pretty much the idea behind the deck. It's a simply elegant deck, I guess you could say. Our other way of winning the game is with Aetherflux Revs of War. Every time we cast a spell, we gain 1 life for each spell that we've cast this turn. So it builds in an exponential loop, I suppose well, not a loop, but an exponential curve. I think it is exponential. It's something where I'm not good at math. Anyway, it's going to get very, very big, very, very fast as long as you keep casting things. But you might be saying, Dylan, how are we going to cast all of these things to build up our Storm or Reservoir count? Well, we're going to do that with Thrumming Stone. Thrumming Stone gives all of our spells Ripple 4. Ripple 4, or Ripple itself, was a very short-lived mechanic that I believe Ice Age block was the first and only time I believe it was printed. But Ripple is essentially, it just means that whenever you cast a spell, you look at the top however many it has Ripple for. So this is Ripple 4. And you may, you reveal them. You don't have the option to reveal them. To reveal the top 4, and you can play as many of those copies as you'd like to. So we have 54 copies of Shadowborn Apostle, so you may be seeing where this pattern is going. And the important thing to know is that whenever you cast those cards, those will also have Ripple because of Thrumming Stone. So you cast Shadowborn Apostle, you hit however many apostles you might hit, and you get to play as many of those as you'd like, and then those each get their own Ripple triggers, and we just keep going and going and going, and we cast every Shadowborn Apostle in our deck. So it's a very fun way to turn a one drop into an army. It's pretty hilarious when it goes off, and sometimes you can even really mess up Moto with it, which isn't quite as fun, but it can definitely create a lot of triggers. And once it gets there, then we just need to be able to pay one black, and now we have Razaketh, and we have a massive storm count. We pay Razaketh, search for whatever combo piece we want, and win the game. Is the idea. Sometimes it doesn't always work, but it's actually more consistent than you'd think, just because of cards like Razaketh that you can just search for your pieces with. So to make sure that we have enough mana to cast our spells and also use our ability for Shadowborn, we play some fast mana. We play Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, the normal ones. We play Songs of the Damned because we have a lot of Shadowborns that can end up being sacked away by their own effect. So that'll give us a lot more Songs of the Damned mana. And Culling the Weak because we have so many cards on our board that can easily be tossed away with Culling the Weak. We have Necropotence to help us draw into our combo pieces a little bit quicker. As we go down the line, you will notice that many of these cards are just about our combo pieces. To play our combo pieces faster, we have Soul Ring and Mana Crypt, and to get our combo pieces back if they fizzle, we play Elixir of Immortality. As far as our lands go, a pretty simple, pretty much the same thing that you would play for any mono black deck, but also with Besiege You because we are playing a combo deck. We want to make our spells uncounterable. Cabal Coffers, Crypt of Agadim, and Desert Temple, that package, and Nykthos Shrine to Nyx to generate a lot of mana once we get a ton of Shadowborn Apostles on the board. And then from there, 27 Swamps. The deck is pretty simple, cut and dry. The advantage of this deck is because you are essentially putting 54 spots to Shadowborn Apostle. As long as you have the Shadowborn Apostles, you don't really have much to spend on the deck. Granted, Shadowborn Apostles get up to around 150 to $2, I think. If you already have them, which you might if they're laying around, I mean they are commons, then you're well on your way to having this deck built. If you already have cards from mono black, chances are you're just about ready to play this deck. So it's pretty accessible as far as paper, and like I said, for about 18 ticks you've got the entire deck, and that was with me getting the Masterpiece, Soul Ring, and Mana Crypt, even though there's only like $1 difference. So it's a very accessible deck, really. I mean, there's definitely some expensive cards in paper, like the Nykthos Shrine to Nyx and Cabal Coffers. But overall, I think this deck is a really affordable option in both formats. And it's a lot of fun. So, on that note, let's jump over into the games and see if we can pick up some wins with the Tendrils of Sidisi. Okay guys, we are playing our Sidisi Storm, or our Tendrils of Sidisi. The problem with this hand is we cannot search for our demon. Well, we can't get him out of our hand. He has to be in our deck. So I think we're going to mulligan here. This looks better. I mean, I'd like to see combo pieces. Let's put this on the bottom. Okay, so my strategy in testing has been to play Shadowborns unless we only have one in hand, because we need one to hit a ripple trigger. Possibly two, but usually just one. and I want to, but still keep the potential to go ahead and actually be able to use Shadowborn's effect even if we don't have a Thrumming Stone. So who's our opponent playing? Our opponent is playing Gonti. So mono black standoff here. Gonti is a weird matchup because I don't really know what of ours he would want to cast off the top. But it, like, you know, especially good because for us he's probably going to hit a Shadowborn Apostle. But we also have to remember that he could hit a combo piece, which is really more of my concern. Because if he exiles one of our Thrumming Stone, well, our one Thrumming Stone, we're pretty much out of the game. He does have that Jet Medallion. I think he's a 5-drop as well. No, 4-drop. Okay, so now's the time to see. And he all 4 and then exiles one of them face down. And until we search deck, I guess we won't know. I mean, the odds of hitting the Thrumming Stone are pretty low. Chances are he just has a Shadowborn Apostle. Okay, so we can get to 6 Shadowborns. The problem is we won't have mana to pay for the ability of them. So in case he plays some type of wipe, I'm just going to play one of them for now. And that way we'll still have one to use for our ripple triggers. We'll let that go through. We want to keep all of our Shadowborns alive and ready. Okay, so he does cast the Mutilate. Okay, so we'll play our Deserted Temple and pass. Ooh, that's not good. One problem this deck has is we don't have any kind of removal. Okay, so let's cast Sidisi. Can we? Can we make 5? Oh yeah, because Cabal. Well, no, because we can do 2 there. Yeah. Okay, I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so let's cast Sidisi and exploit Sidisi. We're going to move him to our command zone. Oh, wait. Okay, so wait, what? Yes, sacrifice a creature. Okay, so he's back to our command zone now. Well, she. So now we'll search. I think we have to get Thrumming Stone for sure. For more than one reason, but okay, so use Cabal Coffers. That essentially that has us a 5 mana basically. 1 more so that we can cast a Throwing Stone cast into it. So what will we see? 6 mana, 7 mana. Crypt Gas is just such a scary card. Okay, so he can bring our Shadowborns back to his board, essentially. Which isn't incredibly threatening because I don't think they're enough for him to really kill us with, and by the time that our Shadowborns are dying, they're usually getting us to what's going to get us our combo piece. So we're pretty much winning the game when we get to that point, or at least hoping to. So I don't think Grave Betrayal is a huge harm to us. Okay, so let's go for the Cabal Coffers. And we'll pay this way. And then next turn we can hopefully cast our first Shadowborn, get a bunch of them, sack a Shadowborn, yada yada yada. I can't really think of anything he can get rid of Throwing Stone that he would have, so I feel better now for sure. Search target opponent's library. Card, exile it face down. Okay, so that could be a problem, in that could be one of our combo pieces. We kind of have to remember that if he's exiled a combo piece with Gonti and then now a combo piece there as well, or wait, so command zone is one of my things exiled. Did he play it? I'm slightly confused. Only one of my things is exiled. So is it the one he searched for, or one that Gonti got? Okay, so now Gonti is doing something. Oh, okay, he stole the swamp, is what he got. Okay. I got slightly confused. Okay. So let's do it. Let's see how this Shadowborn shenanigans goes. So we do want to use Shadowborn's ability. We will get 1 Shadowborn out of it. We'd like it to be more. But what I was saying before is that if he knows what we're doing, then he took the Tendrils of Agony. If he doesn't, then he might have taken something else. If he took something else, then he might have... The only other thing that I think he would have taken would have been the Aetherflux Reservoir. The problem is that we need the Aetherflux Reservoir out while we're casting all of these, not afterwards. So that creates a certain series of problems. In that case, we might almost want to like hold back. I'm not sure. I feel confident that if off of searching, he would have definitely chosen to get the storm card, of course. Okay, so here's the thing. The question now is, do we want to keep rippling? Or do we want to get enough of these guys on board? Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Once we resolve that ripple, that may be the last ripple we get, and we may want to continue things here. So we want to be able to get 6 of them on board. So let's keep rippling until we get at least one more. Well, there's 3. I don't know whether I'm explaining it well. Essentially, I still want ripple triggers on stack, but I want to say no to a few of them until I can get 6 Shadowborns on the board so that I can look in my deck. So we're going to say no to this one as well. So now we're going to pay 1 black. Yes, we'll sacrifice it to itself. He will, of course, get his Grave Betrayal effects going. Now we can search for one of our demons. Okay, so at some point we've lost our tutor demon, our other tutor demon, I should say. Okay, so Rune Scarred will need to search for tendrils. Yeah. Problem is, we can't cast tendrils. Yeah, because we'll only get to 3 black mana. So we need to let the rest of this resolve without rippling. And so we're just going to have to hold off until next turn. And then next turn, get our storm count up and cast tendrils. Because, yeah, we can't generate enough mana for tendrils right now. So we're going to have to let that beautiful storm count go away. Now he's got an army of 2/2s. So I'm not sure why our opponent did not search. Search your opponent's library for a card and exile it face down. Yeah, I'm not sure why they wouldn't have gone for the tendrils. Maybe they're just not familiar with the deck. So we will go ahead and block this. Well, I don't really have to. That'll be 10. Let's block it, and then it'll give him more Shadowborns, but at least we won't take damage. Well, I'm pretty sure we're going to try to win the game this turn. He plays his own Aether Flux Reservoir. Or maybe that's ours. That's probably what it is. He got off Gonti. Or no, that's his. Okay. So it doesn't have the little... Oh no, that is mine. Okay. I wonder what the other thing... I guess I should have looked through. I certainly don't expect him to make that mistake next turn. Or next game, rather. Pretty sure this is a 3-match game. Okay, so we can only afford to play one this turn if we want 2 tendrils. So we need to make these ripples count. Well, there we got 2. So I feel pretty confident that we can get it this turn. That's already 3. Yeah, we're gonna get it. I don't really think that there's a way for him to get out of it at this point. There's one Shadowborn. Use Shadowborn, yep, 2. So let me do some math. If we're doing 2 apiece, he's got 25. So we need at least 13 triggers. This is in the way. Okay. So we'll just keep going until we get to 13. I guess we're a little bit above, just in case. Because if he can cast something at instant speed, he does have the Aether Flux Reservoir. I think that that's pretty much it there. I think that'll do it. Problem is I just don't want to get into that territory where I might time out, since we have seen in the past that I'm prone to doing that. Okay, let's try one more ripple just in case. But I'm not going to go all the way. Okay. Maybe one more. Just because that only got us to 14. I was going to say that that might be all of them, but I believe we have found a couple more. Okay, so we should be fine now. I don't think we need to. I think we can just go ahead and say no to these triggers. Unless something major happens, I think that we're good now, guys. But I don't want to speak too soon. I haven't played much this week, so I'm rusty. Could be making huge mistakes. No. I don't know how interesting this is going to be to watch, but I think this deck is pretty cool. I know that Storm necessarily isn't the most interesting thing to watch in a video, but this is a weird kind of storm, I guess. You don't see Ripple Storm in Modern too often. I guess you technically could in Modern. Ice Age block is in Modern. Oh no, we don't want to do that. Almost skipped through and screwed us up very badly. So, Ripple, okay. So we'll go to sideboarding, I guess. Okay, guys, welcome back. I guess we had some issues at the end of that last game. I I think I clicked everything right. I'm not used to playing commander games online. I may have messed up and shouldn't have clicked sideboarding. But anyway, as far as I can tell, the opponent either left or that wasn't a match game. I'm pretty sure I set it up to be a match, but um, either way, very good game. I believe our opponent's name was Meltzer. I thought it was a fun game. The video was already starting to run a little bit long, as it does with Storm videos, so probably should just stick to one game anyway. So I'm going to leave it there, and if you guys like this deck and want to see more of it, then I'll plan on posting more of it on Sunday, as well as probably give you guys some stories about how the Commander tournament goes tomorrow that my roommate and I are going to. I'm playing Locust God in this tournament, and I would love to play Locust God for you guys, but unfortunately building him online is still slightly expensive, and I just had to build him in person, so I don't really know if I want to invest in him twice, but we might at some point, but probably not right now. But I'll let you guys know how the tournament pans out. And I thank you guys, and I hope that you guys are looking forward to the new schedule. I definitely am looking forward to creating more videos for you guys. That's all I have for today's video, and I hope to see you guys back on Sunday. Thanks, and have a great day.